Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're already part of the Sprinkle Squad. I'm so happy to see you again, and the good news is I finally finished my Lovestruck build. So this is a pack specific build just for base game and Lovestruck, and this is already up on the Sims 4 gallery if you would like to download it under my ID spicensprinkles, all one word, all lowercase, and down in the description if you want to see it written out. And also apologies if I sound a little bit funny. The pollen is out and my allergies are trying to, well, they are making me miserable. They are trying to make me miserable, and they are. So if I sound a little bit funny, that is why. I'm not like sick or anything, I have bad allergies. But anyways, I'm trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do here with this pool. Like, I really loved the idea of having a pool here, although it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense architecturally since that would be going into the floor below it. But you know what? It's The Sims, we're just gonna do whatever we want to do. All of these like penthouse lots, whether it's in San Myshuno or here in Lovestruck, the lot basically acts like just a regular lot, so you can build stuff like pools on it. I will say I do end up taking it out because it didn't work. It felt really small and I don't know. And I really love the way the build looks, so I didn't want to change its size, so I ended up just kind of taking the pool out. And this took me, I think, 4 build sessions to actually complete, and I was always wondering like why this was taking me so long to complete and why it was so difficult. Well, first of all, it's because it's a pack specific build. Those are always more difficult for me, like trying to restrict myself to only certain items. But also I realized, so once I was done, this build came out to 213,000 simoleons, which is wild. That is very, very expensive, even for me. I feel like a lot of my builds end up in 100,000 simoleon kind of range, but 200,000, that's wild. I don't understand. My guess is this build is bigger than I was anticipating. This happens to me a lot. I feel like I try to make these cool builds and then they're huge and then they take me forever to finish. But I think the other reason is since I had to also use base game, I feel like base game items are more expensive than a lot of the items we've gotten in newer packs, if that makes sense. So maybe because I had to use a lot of base game, maybe that's why it ended up being more expensive. But I really wanted this build to be this really cool, like open air, like arches everywhere, lots of balconies, and like just really lavish. And I honestly really like the way it turned out. And it just really is funny to me that it took me so long to finish, because I did start it when Lovestruck came out, but I don't know what it was. I just found it, and again, I think it's because I made it so large that I just found it a little bit difficult. So originally, I wanted to make this, I don't know, maybe like a little seating area kind of area over there, but I do actually end up making that a kitchen way down the line. So that's kind of random, but I do end up swapping that out, which I thought was kind of interesting. So I do end up changing the windows a little bit on the front of the build to match having a kitchen there. And this ends up being a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, which again, I feel like for the price is not very big, but like I said, it's a very lavish, a very lavish place. Like I feel like this would be a really cool like vacation lot too. Like in real life, this would be a cool place to go visit and just hang out and look over the city. And I think it's just kind of interesting having effectively just a house just on top of a building. So I don't know if it super matches the rest of the penthouses and buildings kind of in the area, but I just really liked it. I think this came together really well, and I tried to use a lot of the different swatches and like all of the items from the pack as well. And I always forget, so that like starry item we got for the walls, I feel like I forget that it exists in all of my more recent builds, but I did use it in this build, so I was really excited about that. I feel like I need to remember that it exists because it's just so cute. I just maybe I need to use it like in kids' bedrooms. Like that feels like something that would be really fun to do. I just don't think about it until I see, like, sometimes I watch like speed builds and that kind of things on YouTube, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that item exists. I need to use it. Like that needs to be something that I have. But anyways, I'm just basically adding a bunch of different details kind of all over the place. I think I ended up shrinking that little balcony piece down and kind of putting that on all the windows because I thought that was so pretty. And that wall plant is so gorgeous as well, although I haven't really used it all that much. I mean, obviously I used it in this build, but I don't feel like I have used it a lot in some of my more recent builds. But I am also really trying to finish all of the backlog of builds that I've been having. So I finally finished this one, and I also, my last video, I finished a wedding park kind of thing that I was working on for, again, for a while. I started it when, again, I think when Lovestruck came out. So maybe this is just like the theme. This video and the last video were we're basically just about Lovestruck, but I thought it was really cute, and so I'm finally finishing. I think I still have like 7 builds that I've started and have film for, but I haven't actually finished. So we'll see if all 7 of them end up making it. I have a feeling there's 1 or 2 of them that I may just kind of abandon because I started it and then I don't know if I feel like finishing it. If that makes sense. Like, one of them I have is this really huge, it's supposed to be an industrial build. So I was really excited and I like built it and it was huge. It was so big, and I don't know. I'm having a really hard time with it. So we'll see if it actually ends up making it into a speed build, like if I finish it. But, and I'm just like, so if you see a lot of builds too going up, I'm trying to do them, I feel like I'm building a lot faster than I'm actually posting, if that makes sense. So there've been a lot of stuff I think uploaded to the gallery that is a little bit, well, maybe quite a bit ahead of when the video actually came out. So I posted this a little while ago on the gallery. So like I said, if you'd like to download it, feel free to do so and change things if you'd like to. So if you'd like to swap things out, obviously if you have things other than Lovestruck and base game, you can add other items in or change them out if you would like to. And at this point, I actually end up swapping out the pool for a hot tub. I felt like that made a little more sense because I wanted something like that on this patio. And I think it's funny, I kind of make it look like it's the front door, but for these penthouses, they come up in an elevator. So it's, I don't know, I think it's kind of funny. The elevator basically dumps into their foyer, but I make this almost like it's the front door when you're looking at it. I don't know. I still think it looks really cute, even though it may not make a whole lot of sense here. And I try to use platforms in a few places too to add a little more drama and a little more interest. I feel like this build definitely would have that kind of thing. And so even when I do the kitchen here later on, I leave this little step up that I'm creating because I just thought it kind of added a little something, and we end up having like a huge dining area. And I figure maybe the Sims like to entertain, that kind of thing. And I think I end up taking out those extra railings because I don't know, I was kind of playing around with whether or not I wanted it, because originally I was thinking it was more of a loungy kind of area, because I think I ended up putting like a couch and I think the guitar and stuff in here, thinking people would just like hang out there. And these curtain things I think are really cute, although they're not put in the curtain category, I don't believe, which is a little bit frustrating, but I do really like them. I think I used them recently in my courthouse build. Is not my courthouse, I keep saying that, my courtyard. I had to, fun fact, so when I was recording my courtyard house voiceover recently, I had to start over, I think twice, because I immediately called it courthouse, and I don't know why. Like, I guess courtyard is not something like that the word I use very often. Not that I use courthouse very often. I don't know. Like, yeah, I have no idea why that happened, but I think it's kind of funny. Like, I keep doing that. But anyways, so, and I love, love, love the wallpaper we got with Lovestruck. That floral print is so beautiful. I feel like I try to use it a lot, even though it doesn't always fit in builds. I try it. I feel like it's like the decor to the max floral wallpaper, as well as the paranormal kind of florally wallpaper. All of those are gorgeous, and I feel like I love using those when I can, even if you end up using them as kind of an accent wall. And I feel like I've been really into wallpaper recently. I feel like that's kind of something I want to do in my own home, although it is a bit intimidating to install wallpaper, and I don't know if I have the money to pay someone to do it. So I might have to figure out how to do that if that's something I decide that I want to do. And I also love the animal prints that are in this build, although I feel like I haven't used them very much in some of my other builds, because that's not usually something I go towards, if that makes sense. And it's actually pretty funny. So this here, I did like the mirror with the plant in front of it with the curtains. I actually did this, so I have like a save file that I've played with, and I did that in one of those like so in their dining room, and I thought it was so pretty. So that's actually where I got the idea from. I don't know, I just feel like it looks really cool. I think maybe because it's just the reflection and everything, I think it adds more light and interest on that wall, if that makes sense, versus just putting some more windows, since I feel like we do have a good bit of windows in this build. I will say I struggled a little bit with wall art in this build, so just how to decorate the walls was a little bit difficult, since I wasn't really feeling a lot of the base game art options that we had, and I ended up using this, I guess we should call it like a sideboard in here, and I thought that was really cute. I feel like I don't use it super often, but I do think I used it in my life and death build, I believe, and I feel like the only time I ever use it is when I'm only doing base game or base game and another pack, like doing something limited pack. And I can't remember either. So usually when I do limited pack builds, when I save them, I double check to make sure the only items in there are from the game. And I can't remember if I accidentally placed anything. I mean, what is on the gallery is just Lovestruck and base game, but I recently did one for, what was it? The businesses and hobbies recently, and there were several items that I had to take back out of the build because they ended up getting in there. I can't remember if I really had that issue with this build as much, but anyways, what is on the gallery is totally fine. So in case you see anything, it has been taken out. I did fix it before uploading it. It's just been a little while since I actually put it on the gallery. And then kind of mixing up some of the wallpapers in here and adding some extra pillows. And like I said, I figured this is just kind of the entrance, and that back porch kind of behind the elevator, you can access it what will be through an office and also through the living room. So you have two ways to kind of get there, and that's actually where I end up putting the mailbox and the trash chute. And I know that having the mailbox out there maybe doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's where I just decided to put it. And I feel like, the trash chute could kind of go anywhere, and I feel like outside makes sense, but the mailbox being out there is kind of like, I don't know why it's out there, but it's just kind of what made sense at the time when I was doing this. So again, just going in and adding some of these really cute star lights everywhere. And I ended up using those wall lights as well, kind of as little accent spotlight, like art lights. I don't know what you want to call them, but those I end up putting kind of all over the place too, to add a little bit of interest. And I end up making this really large office area with a seating space as well. I have no idea what these Sims do. I don't know what their careers are, hobbies, or anything like that. I just kind of add stuff in here so your Sim has stuff to do. I do end up adding a gym upstairs, and I will say, literally when I was building this, I had no idea what I was going to put upstairs, like what rooms or anything like that. So later on is when I actually decided to put in a gym, and I think that worked out really well, especially since we actually got gym equipment with this pack. I thought that would be pretty appropriate, so I can actually use the items that we got with it. So in here, just adding a bunch of stuff. I think I end up adding in, I think some bookcases maybe behind the desk. I'm trying to remember actually. Like I said, it's been a minute since I did this, and I originally thought that kind of wall piece would be really cool in the living room with a TV on it. So I end up kind of moving it in there, but I end up not using it just because, I don't know, it didn't look quite right. Maybe I'll do that in another build. It just didn't seem to fit the aesthetic I was going for, if that makes sense. And I think this actually ends up turning out really cute, and I end up moving things around, like I said, because I do end up putting a door over there to lead out to that patio, because I thought that might be kind of nice to have off of your office. And I think, like, let's see, upstairs the gym has a balcony, and so does the master bedroom, as well as the ensuite for that. So I don't know. I put balconies almost on everything except for the second bedroom, basically. Like, even a bathroom upstairs has a balcony, which I thought was kind of funny, but I don't know. Like, I figured with that view of the city, you would probably want to have as many spaces as you can have to kind of look out. And just adding in, I really do love that couch. I feel like I haven't used it super often though, because I feel like it really works with very certain builds, at least for me anyways. And again, if you ever have any ideas for builds, definitely leave those down below in the comments. I have a list going of ideas that I want to do. Like I said, I'm trying to get through all of my old videos that I have, just to, you know, kind of finish those, because I really do. I have this like folder on my computer where I put all of the recordings, and I have so many in there. Like, there's so many, it's out of hand. So that's why recently I decided I need to actually go do something with this, because this needs to be fixed. And just adding a wall in here, because I think it helps separate the space a little bit. I was going to leave it open, but it just felt like it was a little bit too much. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of helped to have a little bit of a separation, but it still has the archway and everything. And I actually end up having a piano in here. So this living room definitely takes different forms. Like, it took me a minute to figure it out. I end up kind of scooting over the fireplace a little bit and then adding the seating area. I think because I feel like the living room furniture wasn't super large. Like, I feel like, you know, sometimes we get packs that have those huge sofas and everything that would take up more space. I feel like the stuff we got with this pack isn't quite as large in the room. I think that's what made it a little more difficult. And I think I actually end up using actually maybe all of the swatches just about for that painting I put on the wall. Like, I ended up putting one in the gym. I think I put one upstairs in the like landing area by the stairs. Like, it just everywhere. Oh, there's one in the bedroom, like everywhere. And so I just felt like this space was very sparse. Like, there wasn't enough in it, which is why I end up kind of moving stuff around. And I think it ends up looking a whole lot better, as well as adding something else for your Sims to be able to do. I feel like, especially using one of those like grand pianos I guess, are they grand pianos or baby grand pianos? I'm not sure. But anyways, so the big pianos. Not the like upright ones, that one of the big ones in here. I just thought that would be so fun. And of course, adding a chess table in here for your Sims to have something to do. And out on the back patio, I end up just making it kind of a sitting area, just somewhere fun to kind of hang out in. And you can see I kind of shifted everything around, and I feel like it makes a little more sense this way. It feels a little cozier and a little bit nicer. And I don't know, I think it came out really nice. And I will say, like, I guess if you have people over, I mean, there's plenty of places to sit. Like, there's the foyer, the living room, the dining room, the back patio, the front patio. Like, we even have like a little breakfast nook in the kitchen area. There's tons of seating all over this home, even if there isn't like a bunch of couches here in the actual like living room space. So I feel like maybe if you're having a get together, it would just kind of be everybody's walking around and kind of doing whatever, if that makes sense. And I think the back patio ends up being really cute, and I feel like would be one of those fun places to hang out. I don't know if you've ever seen, like, I feel like a lot of the houses that I've seen recently have like an outdoor fireplace under their like back patio, like it's a covered back patio. And I feel like that's kind of what this is giving, if that makes sense. Like, and I imagine that these chairs are like swivel chairs, like they could turn around and look at the view if they wanted to. I know I'm imagining all this stuff, but I don't know. I feel like it's kind of fun to imagine that, and like that's what you would intend for your Sims, even if that's not what, you know, they end up actually doing. I just think it would be really cute that way. And then I just kind of end up adding a little more seating over there, and I end up putting just plants over by the mailbox and the trash chute, just because, I don't know, it didn't feel like you needed a ton of stuff out there. I also figured that would be a good place to fit in another skill building item if your Sim, you know, has a different hobby. I mean, you could definitely put a woodworking table out there. You could do a little bit of gardening, that kind of thing. I think that'd be a great patio for gardening as well, if you wanted to swap out some of the items, of course, depending on what your Sim is into and what, you know, they need to be working on. I feel like it definitely depends when I have Sims, like what their job is, what I end up actually adding in to my home. And I felt like it would make sense on this back patio to have a bunch of stars since you are outside. Like, I don't know, I just thought that would be really cute. I feel like I rediscovered that item because at this point, I think this is like the third time, or no, I think this is the fourth recording. Like in this portion, I actually end up finishing a lot of it in one sitting. And I think I really did come together. I really was not sure what to do at the beginning, and then I end up going with like a green and yellow color scheme here in the kitchen, which I thought was really nice. I kind of took inspiration from the couches in the living room since they had that really nice dark green. I figured it'd be nice to kind of pull that into the kitchen as well, and then having these really pretty yellow chairs. And I don't know, I really like the kitchen. I like the way it turned out, and actually using the newer base game counters we got, which I'm honestly in love with. I really love the texture of the counters and everything for it, so I think it worked out really well here. And I do end up taking that tall cabinet out on the side and end up putting like some that, oh, what am I trying to say, like the bar piece. I end up putting that up on the wall because I thought that would be really cute, and I actually end up adding a microwave in here. I don't usually add microwaves into my builds, but you know, I don't know. I just felt like it kind of fit here, and this was a pretty large kitchen. And I end up basically putting an accent table instead of using an island, because I just felt like an island was really large for this space. I just end up using a smaller table, and I think that's nice. And I end up actually using that wall bookcase over in the corner. I figured like kind of like a shelving unit, maybe that's where they keep the cookbooks and things like that. I thought that would be really cute, or maybe they'd put spices on it, you know, something like that. And I end up just kind of putting a bunch of decor in here, and I think I really end up loving I really end up loving this kitchen. And then, like I said, just adding in that little kind of island piece, if you will, like maybe a little makeshift island. And of course, I end up moving the like fruit slash vegetable bowl over to that instead of being on the breakfast table, just because that table is so small. And I tried to put some items on that accent table, so I'm hoping your sim doesn't try to cook on it. I have had that issue before. Hopefully that's not an issue, but I would assume that the solution would be to make sure you fill all the slots on that table, because I have had a sim before in a home that literally they would make the little cutting board of, like, if they were making the salad, like make a cutting board of the fruits and stuff, and or not fruits the vegetables for the salad, and they end up, like, for some reason, instead of going to the counter and preparing the food, they would take it and put it on that accent table in the kitchen. I have no idea why they would do that, but they kept doing it. So anyways, if you have that issue, hopefully it was just that one time I played the game, and it wasn't even this build, so hopefully it was just something with the other build, especially since there's so much counter space in this kitchen that I built. So I don't know, hopefully it's not, but that would be my solution, is to make sure you've just got an item on each of the slots. I'm assuming that table has 3 item slots, and I used 2 of them, so if you need to put a third one on there. I feel like that was like a lot of explanation just for an accent table, but I figured it was worth it in case you do end up having an issue with that. And then I figured I really needed to use this cheetah print bed. Like, I had to. I was so excited about it. I think this bedroom ends up looking so cute in here. Like, it really, like, I don't know, I think I really love this bedroom. Like, it wouldn't be my bedroom if that makes sense, but I really like the way it turned out, even though it was just base game and Lovestruck. And I end up having like a little seating area over here, and then we put a dresser off to the side. And I will say that the bathroom is definitely interesting. So when I did the bathroom, I actually end up making, I don't know if you've seen those, like they do the shower and bathtub like in the same area, like the bathtub's freestanding, but it's part of the shower area, if that makes sense. Like, it looks really cool and it's really pretty, but honestly I feel like it would be an absolute nightmare to clean, like trying to get around the bathtub and everything. But that was kind of the idea when we end up actually getting into the bathroom that I was going for. And I actually end up, you know, I struggled a bit with the color scheme here in the bathroom as well, trying to figure out what I wanted. We ended up going with like a black and red and white is what ended up in here. And I did make a makeshift vanity. So since the base game didn't have any kind of vanity, and I really wish, you know, I feel like Lovestruck would have been the perfect pack to get another vanity with, to be honest. I don't know. It just feels like it would have fit the vibe of it really well. But anyways, so I ended up I used the desk from the pack and made like a pretend vanity, which of course, if you actually have one in the game, you can swap it out and make it functional. Otherwise, it's just kind of like a table that's in their bathroom. But anyways, you can see I kind of add 2 of the showers in here, and then using that shower door we got with the pack, and then creating this really cool like tub space over there. Again, I feel like would be a nightmare to clean. However, I think it looks really cool. Like, I feel like I see it on a lot of stuff and I'm like, that looks really neat, but I wouldn't want to be in charge of dealing with it, like getting around the bathtub and everything. If you're someone that has that kind of setup, let me know. Like, is it hard to clean? It just feels like it would be. I don't know. But just adding in this interesting sink situation. So, since I definitely wasn't moving the windows and the door that were on that balcony because I'm in love with the way it looked, I had to figure out how to set this up really well. And what I ended up doing was I put in one of those tall mirrors. I did one like back to back so that each of the sinks has a mirror, but it's like freestanding. I don't know. You'll see what I mean here in a second, but I thought it ended up looking actually pretty cool to have that there. And so this is a very interesting bathroom. I'm not going to lie. I feel like it's definitely not something that I've done before. So like, let me know how you feel about it. Like, because I think it's interesting. I just don't know if I would do it again, but it's just how everything fit really well, if that makes sense. And then just, of course, adding some clutter over here on this makeshift vanity. And I don't know, I think it ended up being really cute to have this space here, even if it's not super usable. I just imagine, like, if there's a kid on this lot, that they, like, come all the way up into their parents' bedroom to do their homework on that desk. Like, that's what I'm imagining. I just feel like it would be really funny for that to kind of happen. But anyways, we end up just kind of adding a little more decor in here. I think I put that, did I put that plant wall piece in the shower area as well? I'm trying to remember. Like, I hope I did, because I feel like that would be really cute, actually. And then using these, like, curtains that we got, I thought, I don't know, it just looked really cute. I imagine that the idea being you can move the curtains, like, if you wanted it to be open, and shut if you were actually, like, bathing, or I don't know, like, would you even need them closed? I mean, I imagine that these kind of homes have, like, that tinting on it, so, like, people couldn't see in your home, but you could see out kind of thing. I don't know. So I don't even know if you would need curtains, but I feel like it would be a hard thing for me. I feel like I would definitely need them. Like, even if I knew the house had tinting on it, I feel like that would be a hard thing to actually, like, wrap my brain around. And then out here on the balcony for the gym area, I end up just putting some gardening and a woodworking table, just kind of to have extra stuff. Like, really, your Sims shouldn't be bored. They should have plenty of hobbies in this build. And then, of course, ended up adding in this picture in here, which, I don't know, that picture, it felt right. It felt like it was appropriate for the gym. I don't know. And then adding in just a little bit, moving stuff around. I thought it looked a little bit better to have 2 treadmills instead of the weight machine over there. And I like the idea of having the TV in there, like you're working out and you can watch TV, that kind of thing. And then in here with the landing, I think I just ended up putting like a bookcase, and then again using that picture but in a different swatch. Like I said, I think I used every swatch that thing has in this build because we were limited on art, and I just felt like the base game art didn't quite match like the aesthetic that was happening here. And I'm also obsessed with this wallpaper. I know I've used it throughout the house, but the right there that's in the landing, I really like it. I feel like I've been doing several of my own game files, just like playing, and I feel like I'm always using that. So I think that's also one of my new favorite wallpapers. And I figured, for this space, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I figured in a house this big, you should have another room. Now, I feel like this could be a teen bedroom, but I also feel like it could be like a guest bedroom. So I went with a totally different color scheme, I feel like, than I did for a lot of the other rooms. And I feel like it ended up looking so cute. I ended up using a wall decal behind it, almost like a headboard, which I think ended up working out really well and kind of adding a little something and breaking up that print on the wall, which I like the print, but it's a lot to have that on the wall. And then using that couch again, because I figured having like a little seating area would be nice, especially if you use this as a guest room. So they really do have their own space. And then in the bathroom, I end up using those beaded curtains, but in that really gorgeous like yellow, pink, and blue swatch, which I'm honestly in love with. Like, those are like my kind of colors. Although I guess, my office is pretty colorful, but I don't know. I feel like every room in my house is a little bit different, to be honest. I feel like each of my rooms in my house has like something else going on, which I think, on one hand is a lot, but on the other hand, it allows me to like decorate in a bunch of different ways that, I wouldn't be able to if I didn't do each room just a little bit different. I feel like that's also how I do my Christmas decorations. Like I basically have a theme for every room is what ends up happening, just because I like a lot of different types of Christmas decorations. So each room kind of gets its own theme, if that makes sense. And then out here, I think I ended up putting an easel out here since I don't think I've put one in this build yet. And then on the primary bedroom, I end up putting like some lounging like sun chairs out there, and I tried to put little tables with them as well, but in playtesting the sim could not figure it out. Like I swapped the tables out, I moved them around, I tried different configurations, and the sim just like couldn't handle it, like could not get out on the balcony if I had those end tables there. So in the screenshots and what's uploaded on the gallery, you'll notice they aren't there, and that's because of playtesting. So just FYI, if you notice that it's going to be a little bit different than what I built. But if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye, everybody.